Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Interreg Europe's welcome webinar for new first call project lead partners. This is a session to help you get started with your project. We're going to take you through what happens next and what are the next things you need to think about. As I said, this session is mainly for lead partners, but of course, I know that there are some other project partners as well, and you're welcome to follow this session as well. Let's make it an active and an interactive session, and let's start to get to know each other a little bit as we start this new project journey together. My name is Miia Itänen. I'm a communication officer here at the Interreg Europe Joint Secretariat, and together with my colleagues, we are going to take you through today's 90-minute session to get started with new projects. With that said, let's have a quick look at the agenda and see what we've got in store for you today. We're going to do a little bit of introduction at first, get to know each other a little bit. Then we will talk about the next steps that are happening in the next days. And for some of you have actually already happened a little bit. Some of your meetings have already been ongoing. We'll talk a little bit about subsidy contracts and partnership agreements, as well as communication requirements and some of the next upcoming events. All of this is going to take about 90 minutes. We have time reserved for questions as well. So if you have anything you would like to check or clarify, today is your chance to do it. We have a team helping us out behind the scenes. You'll meet some of the colleagues here on camera, and we are all here to help you get a good start. To do that, a little bit of housekeeping. This session is being recorded. You will have access to the recording afterwards. You will also get the presentations and materials afterwards. So everything we share today will be available later. For any comments or thoughts or suggestions, you can use the chat. Feel free to make use of it. It is right there for you. But if you have any questions, please put your questions in Slido, because we have some of our colleagues from the project team and the finance team to help us out. And actually at this point, I would like to welcome Martinez and Ségolène Jean. Hassan is our coordinator of projects and Ségolène is one of our finance officers. They will be in Slido helping us with the questions. Before we go to our speakers, maybe Hassan, how is it going with the new project? How are things looking from the project team's perspective or from your coordinator's point of view?
Good morning, Miia, and good morning, everyone. The meetings are going very well. We started last week. Today, we have already met with 67 projects, so most of the 72 that have been recommended for approval. There are only 5 left. We will finish with the meetings on Monday. It's been very nice to see some familiar faces and also some new faces in the lead partners from these projects. We know that all of them are working on the conditions to get the projects approved before the end of February. We see all of them very motivated, and we are very happy to start with these new first call projects.
Excellent. And Ségolène, from your perspective, how is the finance team getting ready to start with new projects?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, it was really nice getting to know all the projects with the condition meeting, and we see some motivated people also from the finance perspective. So it's really nice. And today we're looking forward looking at your questions and trying to answer as many as possible. So yeah.
Excellent. Good. So Hassan and Ségolène will be in the chat helping you out. In addition, in the chat, you will see some other colleagues. Everyone on the participant list with Interreg Europe next to their name is a member of the Joint Secretariat, and we are all here to help you. So you can reach out to any of us if you have additional questions. We also have my communication colleagues, Petra and Josephine and Louise, helping us out behind the scenes. You will meet Irma our communication coordinator in just a few minutes, as well as Anne-Cecile, a coordinator from our finance unit, as well as our director, Erwin, who will welcome you very shortly. So there's a big team here today, but before we continue with our team, I would like to know a little bit more about who else is here with us. We have a quick opening poll just to get a sense of how familiar you are with Interreg Europe project. We would like to know if this is maybe your first project or if you've already been involved. Hassan said that there's been quite a few familiar faces. And even if you've already been in a project, maybe this is the first time you are a lead partner. So give us some input and let us know how experienced you are when it comes to leading an Interreg Europe project. That will help us shape the discussion a little bit. Good. I see that you are still replying, so I'll give you a little bit more time, maybe about 10 seconds or so. But it already looks very interesting. We have a mix between those who really are new and those who already have some experience. If you are one of the more experienced ones, as we go through today's agenda, if you have any additional tips or suggestions or experience to share, please feel free to use the chat to share those. All right, we can close the poll and have a quick look at the results. We see that 38% of today's participants are in their first Interreg Europe project. Very warm welcome, but we also have 61% of people who have already been involved before. And it's a relatively even split, 42% leading their first project, 38% who have already been a lead partner before. And then we have some who are not leading a project, and that is fine. I, of course, welcome you all to be part of today's session. Good. Keeping that in mind, some newcomers, some familiar faces, I will hand over to our director, Erwin Siweris, to tell you a little bit more about us and what lies ahead. Erwin, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Miia. And welcome also from my side in this rather cold period of time. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the 72 projects which made it in the first round. It's quite a huge number of projects which made in the first round, and it shows also that the program is needed in Europe. It's an excellent start for a program which went, as some of you know, to a difficult time, as we initially were not proposed by the European Commission to continue, but thanks to the regions, thanks to the partner states, thanks to the Parliament, we are there. And you show, yes, we need Interreg Europe, and we have a lot of hopes that also you deliver the results, which also the projects in the previous periods delivered. But the focus is a little bit more now from all sides to this program, who made it, and people, stakeholders are looking at the projects, especially at you, the first projects, how you developed, how you deliver, and to avoid the discussion also in the future. Let me then also show a few statistics. We had also a good figure, 134 projects submitted. 3/4 were eligible, and more than half of the submitted projects were approved. Again, an extremely good start of the program with approval rate of more than 50%. I think this is rare that an Interreg program has such a high approval rate. For the allocation of the partners within the countries, you see the slides here. We have the front runners concerning the numbers of partners: Italy, Spain, but also Romania, Poland. So already at the first 4 or 5 countries, we have a well mix of more and less advanced region. Exactly what is the rationale of the program? Also, this is already an success, I would say. And then on the next slide, we see the allocation of the topics. Most of the topics submitted and approved were within Smart, Green, and Social Europe. This again is what the partner states decided to focus on, these 3 main areas, but have a door open for the other areas. And we can say the allocation of the 3 Smart, Green, Social Europe projects in over the total project is exactly the figure which the partner states would like to have a certain focus on, and then 20%, about 20% should be submitted in the others, and that's exactly the case. So everything's going perfectly. Then I would like to introduce you a little bit to the team. As I said already, cold winter time, everyone is looking for warmth, company, câlin, we say in France. So, and my team is here to give you this support, not feeling alone, and give you some warmth. So we have our team divided, not divided. We have units here, finance, projects, and platform. These are for you projects. The first you are dealing with at the moment, all the people you are in contact are from one of these units, finance and audit, or projects and platform. But of course, you also deal with communication. They are running the seminar, they were running the information events before the approval of the project, and the management, me. Someone has to be responsible for everything what's done in this program, in the good and the bad. So this is my and also my colleagues' part. I will introduce you. And then, of course, we have the policy learning platform, the team which is managing the policy learning platform, but also the thematic experts. I will show you just a little bit quickly the pictures that you see who is there. So I just mention here Petra Geithner, who is the head of the finance unit, Anne-Cecile and Ilaria, who are coordinators. All three will be in the webinar. You will get to know them in the webinar today. Then you have the other colleagues who are working in the unit. Then from the projects and platform, we have Nico, the head of the projects and platform unit, supported by Rasson and Magda, are the coordinators. Rasson, Nico will also be present during the webinar today, and you will meet, and you all met already, one of the other colleagues mentioned here. Then we continue with the policy learning platform experts. You see here, I would like to mention Thorsten on the level down, Elena, Raluca, Lotte, Eugenie, Sorush, and yes, these are the, I have to count 6 who are working here in the secretariat managing the policy learning platform. All the others are thematic experts. You may had already contact with them in the previous project, but you will for sure have contact with them during the implementation of the projects. They will also monitor from the expert point of view a little bit what is going on, and may contact you, but you will for sure be invited to seminars, thematic seminars organized by the policy learning platform, and you will get to know these people as well. Then we have management here. You see my picture, but this is indeed, it's me. This was after Botox and before my hair transplant, as you see. Now all this is a little bit changed. Unbotoxed, unhair transplanted Law Elodie Alexandre supporting me, and I would like to close with my precious communication team. Irma, Petra, Julie, Miia, I mentioned them all here, Josephine, Luis. It's their event today. And with this, I would like to close, wish all of you a very successful webinar today and a very successful project implementation. And I hope to see you soon in live, one of the events which are announced today and during the course of the program. And I give back the floor to Miia, unbotoxed and unhair implanted. Everything is real. Miia, the floor back to you.
Well, thank you, Erwin. As said, a lot of familiar faces. I'm sure a lot of familiar faces for many of you as well. For those of you who the faces were maybe a little bit new, we look forward to meeting you in the upcoming events, both in person, in webinars, online, and elsewhere over the next years during your project implementation. how do we get there? Let's talk about the very next steps that will take you to getting your project started. We are going to do it with a representative from our finance unit, Anne-Cecile Renard, who is our coordinator of program finances. Anne-Cecile will take you through what happens next. Anne-Cecile, over to you.
Thank you, Miia. Good morning, everybody. So yes, as my colleague said, you are now all in the process of working hard on your conditions, and we will see now what will be the next steps once you have fulfilled these conditions. But before that, you had, or you will have, for some of you, still the online conditions meetings. And at the end of these conditions meetings, an intermediate deadline is set, which is usually 2 weeks for you to already revise your application form and submit conditions in the portal. And after that, the JS checked how you have fulfilled this condition, and if needed, another clarification round is done. Then there is one final deadline for all of you, which is the 28th of February for the fulfillment of conditions. And this is because the official start date of your project is 1st of March 2023. And once you have fulfilled all the conditions and the policy officer and finance officer confirms that everything is fulfilled, you will receive an official notification letter by email, and then you will receive by post the subsidy contract already signed by our managing authority, and we will ask you to return back 2 copies of the signed subsidy contract to us within 3 weeks. While we are in this process of fulfillment of conditions, we encourage you to already start discussing and finalizing the partnership agreement. We will talk a bit later on about the partnership agreement, and start already the signature process of this partnership agreement. And one important principle to remember during this process of fulfillment of condition, but also throughout the duration of the project, is the lead partner principle. By this, we mean that we as GS and the managing authority always communicate only with the lead partner. So we do not communicate directly with the partners, and the lead partner represents all the project partners and have to make the link between the GS communication and the partners. For this, we ask you to always send your email to us, to both the policy officer and the finance officer. This is very important for us to allow us to monitor properly your project and to reply also timely to your questions. So even if you have only a question related to finance, please put the policy officer also in copy and vice versa. And finally, we will always send emails to all the lead partner portal users, which means that it's important that you check already now in the portal that all the relevant people, so the project coordinator, the finance coordinator, the communication manager, are registered as project users in the portals, and also that they are linked with the lead partner organization. So in this screenshots that I've put on the slide, you see that there is organization, and here the users have to be linked with the lead partner so that we know that they are lead partner users, and we should also put them in copy of our emails.
Yes, let's stop here for a little while. Those are the very next things that will be happening, and we'll go a little bit deeper into the subsidy contract and the partnership agreement in just a moment. But Anne-Cecile, maybe a quick clarification. We got 2 questions. One about when the next program manual is coming out, and this was actually already replied to in Slido by our chat team behind the scenes. So the program manual will be published next week, the next version. Of course, you have the current version already available online, and we'll share the link to that in the chat. But you mentioned the portal, and we have a question here about the new iOLF. Maybe just a quick clarification for somebody who might be returning after being involved in projects before, or being one of the newcomers. Just give us a bit of an explanation on how these things work behind the scenes in terms of accessing tools.
Yes. The new iOLF is in fact the portal. It's already available to projects for the application stage and for the condition stage. I see that the questions come from Håkan from Sweden, which is a centralized controller in Sweden. So I guess is wondering when it will be available for controllers. So we are working on the reporting section at the moment, and it will be ready for the reporting. I will mention later on the date of the first reports. It's only in December that the progress report will be submitted by a project. So we still have a little bit of time to work on this, but we will inform controllers as soon as it is ready for them.
Excellent. So yes, let's take things step by step. If you have any additional questions, we will continue to take you through, as said, the subsidy contract and the partnership agreement next. But you can put your questions in Slido. We'll come back to them after a few more slides and a few more clarifications and explanations. So Anne-Cecile, I will let you continue and tell us more about the subsidy contract.
Okay, yes, thank you. So yes, let's start with the subsidy contract, and then we will see a little bit about the partnership agreement as well. So concerning the structure of the subsidy contract, it's a contract between the managing authority of the program, which is the Hauts-de-France region, and the lead partner. It's rather short, it's only 13 articles, and the text has been harmonized with Interact, which means that if you have a project in another Interreg program, you will notice that the text will be very similar, not exactly the same, because of course we had to adapt it to our specificities, but the structure and the main articles will be more or less the same. One important thing to understand about the subsidy contract is that Annex 1 of the subsidy contract is the latest approved application form, which is available on the portal. This approved application form will not be attached to the subsidy contract that we will send you for signature, because it's always the latest version approved in the portal that is applicable. And this is because this allows us to avoid having to ask you to sign again the subsidy contract each time there is a change of the approved application form. You will also notice that there are two columns in the subsidy contract, one in French and one in English. But don't worry if you don't understand French. Both versions have exactly the same legal value. So you can ignore the French version and concentrate on whichever version is most understandable for you. It's a standard document for all projects. So the only difference is the name of the lead partner, of course, and the title of the project. But apart from that, all the articles are exactly the same for all projects, because the amounts, there's no amount mentioned in the subsidy contract. All the amounts are in the application form. And there is also no detail about the procedure. For example, the reporting procedures, you will not find details about this in the subsidy contract. The details of the procedures are all in the program manual. Next slide, please. Now, which rules are applicable to your project and to this subsidy contract? First of all, at the top of the pyramid of rules, you can see the EU regulation. It's mostly the structural funds regulations, which are referenced in the subsidy contract, but you will see that also some other regulations and some other EU principle such as the non-discrimination principle, are included in the reference in the subsidy contract, and also some other EU legislation, such as the General Data Protection Regulation, which is important to remember once implementing your project. Below the EU regulations, you find the program rules, which are approved by the monitoring committee and which are detailed in the program manual on the website. It's always the latest version of the program manual published on the website, which is applicable. But here again, don't worry, we will inform you whenever we publish a new version of the program manual. The lead partner will receive an email that there is a new version, and with also information on the main changes in this program manual. And finally, at the bottom of the pyramid, so only in cases not covered by EU regulation and the program rules, some national rules may apply. And this is in particular the case for the control system, which are different from one country to another. And for these national rules, you will find info about this on the website in the section called In My Country. Now, let's see what are the obligations of the lead partner, which derives from the subsidy contract. So first of all, of course, you are responsible as lead partner for the implementation of the whole project as planned in the application form. You can see on the slides that I didn't say as planned in the application form, but I mentioned the project data on this slide, and this is because this is the terminology which is used in the subsidy contract, but it basically means all the information related to your project, which is available in the portal. So it's mainly, of course, the application form, but it's also, for example, the conditions, and your replies to the conditions are also binding as much as the application form. That's why we mentioned the project data, which is a bit bigger than the application form. You are also responsible for the correct implementation of the project according to the rules, and also for the project coordination, both on the content side and on the financial side. And you are responsible to make sure that you and your partners only spend what is necessary and reasonable for the project, and only cost, and that the project partner reports only costs that are related to the project. You are also, as lead partner, responsible for the compliance with deadline, notably for the reporting to the program. And whenever we have some requests to you, we always put also deadlines, and you should also make sure that you respect this deadline. If for some reason, a justified reason, you are not able to comply with these deadlines, we ask you to always send us an email before the deadline to inform us that you are going to be late and request an extension of the deadline. And finally, you are responsible for the transfer of the ERDF and Norwegian funding to your partners according to the time frame that you will set in the partnership agreement. Another important obligation of the lead partner, and also for all partners, is the archiving of documents. You have to make sure that documents remain available for any audit or evaluation for at least 5 years after the last payment made to the project. So when we pay the last progress report, there will be another 5 years where you have to make sure to keep all the documents. And as lead partner, you also have some obligations to inform the JS of any changes related to the project. And in particular, if there is any change of legal status of the lead partner, but also of any of the partners, or if there is a legal succession. And by this, we mean when there is a partner organization that becomes a new entity. It could be the case, for example, when a partner organization merges with another organization and becomes a new entity. You have to inform us so that we can advise you how to reflect this in the application form. Regarding the contact details, you should inform us of any change of name of any partner organization, and you should also make sure that you and your partners keep the contact details available in the system under project users as updated, and also the address of the partners should be kept updated in the system. Regarding partnership changes, normally after the signature of the contract, there shouldn't be any partnership changes, but that's the ideal scenario, and we know that sometimes there may be some unavoidable partnership changes, and in that case, please inform us as soon as you see that there might be a partnership change, so that we can advise you how to deal with it. And finally, any other important change or issues that you are facing with the implementation of your project, always inform us as soon as possible so that we can advise you. In the subsidy contract, you will find also some information and communication requirements, but I will not go into the detail for this because this will be presented to you by Irma in the next presentation. You have also, you and your partners, some reporting obligations. As I said, the reporting procedures are detailed in the program manual, and for some, we will give you also further guidance during the lead partner seminar in March and during an implementation seminar in September. So for now, I will just mention when you will have to report for the first time. And this is each time you will have to report 3 months after each semester. And as the start date for the first call project is 1st of March, this means that the first reporting period will end at the end of August of this year. And so the first progress report to be submitted by the lead partner to the program, to the GS, will be, the deadline will be on 1st of December. No, of course, the subsidy contract has also to foresee some provision for the case if anything goes wrong. So what could be these cases? If objective or outputs are not met, some corrective measures, which could be a change of the application form, change of the activities, or in extreme cases, change of partnership or reduction of the subsidy. If the budget is not spent as planned in this spending plan, or if we see during the midterm reviews that you are highly underspending, we may also ask you to reduce the budget and the subsidy may be reduced accordingly. And finally, in the worst case scenario, we could end the contract. In case of irregularities, the MA will always turn first against the lead partner for any breach or default from the lead partner or the project partner for the total amount of the subsidy which has been paid and for which there is an irregularity. But, and this is an important but, the lead partner can then turn against the project partners to recover the unduly paid funds through the partnership agreement. And this is now what we are going to see, the project partnership agreement. So the project partnership agreement is an agreement between the lead partner and all project partners, and only the project partners named in the application form, because only this organization can report costs to the program. This means that the associated policy authorities do not have to sign the partnership agreement because they are not partners and they are not reporting costs directly to the program. Next slide, please. The project partnership agreement is a document which is compulsory and has to be signed by all project partners and the lead partner. We often receive the question, does it have to be only one document where all project partners sign this document, or can this be bilateral partnership agreement between the lead partner and each project partners? And what we reply is that it's up to you, because this is your agreement. We are not a party to this agreement, so it's up to you to set the signature process. Of course, if it's possible, we advise to have bilateral agreements, because it's much easier for the signature process, and it will allow a faster signature of the partnership agreement. But this is entirely up to you to design this process. The project partnership agreement contains all the obligations coming from the subsidy contract, plus additional provisions, such as how you will decide within the partnership, and also what is the division of the preparation cost. And as I mentioned before as well, also the time frame for the payment of the subsidy, the transfer of the subsidy to your partners, this has to be set also in the partnership agreement. A template for this partnership agreement is provided on the website, but this is only a template, so you can modify it as long as you make sure that it does not contradict the subsidy contract. And very importantly, to finish, this partnership agreement has to be signed by each of the partners before they can report for the first time to the controller. And to conclude, all these documents you can find on our website, and the national specific information you can also find under country-specific information. And we really encourage you and all your partners to read carefully all these documents.
Thank you, Anne-Cecile. It's again time to take some questions. We did receive a few, and actually you already covered some in your presentation as you were going through it. And our team, Hassan and Ségolène, have also answered to the questions in writing. But let's run through it really quickly just to be clear. So let's start with Nora's question first. She's asking about the annexes to the partnership agreement mentioned on the website. Are they mandatory to be filled out and provided with the partnership agreement? You were just saying that it's a template, but it should be adjusted, right?
Yes. The two annexes that are in the partnership agreement, we highly recommend to have these two annexes, because they are, one of them is about the division of the lump sum. So you have to make sure that you foresee some division of the lump sum. So we recommend to have this division annexed to the partnership agreement. And the other one is a more detailed work plan, budget, and from experience, it's usually useful also for projects to have this more detailed work plan and budget annexed to the partnership agreement. But it's up to you. As we said, it's a template, so it's up to you to decide which annexes you have in the partnership agreements. And if you want to agree on these details in another way, it's also possible.
All right. Good. Let's see what else we have on the list as they get answered by the chat team at the same time. There was an anonymous question which has also been discussed in Slido. If there is both the subsidy and the partnership agreement that'll be signed over a period of weeks, is it still okay to start the partnership activities, especially in terms of meetings during that time? Hassan confirmed that this is correct, but Anne-Cecile, anything you would like to add?
Yes, I would like to add that the eligibility date is the date of approval of the monitoring committee, so 13th of December 2022. So it's absolutely fine to start already even before the signature of the contract and partnership agreement. But of course, it's better for you to have this document signed as soon as possible. But you can still start even if they're in the process of being signed.
All right. Well, there are more questions coming. Let's take one that has not been answered yet, the last one on the list. So just to recap, by when does the subsidy contract have to be signed? This is an anonymous question.
Well, as I said, it has to be signed as soon as possible after the fulfillment of condition is finished, and we will set a deadline of, I think it's usually 3 weeks when we send you the subsidy contract. So 3 weeks after you receive by post the subsidy contract, it will have to be signed. But it is a deadline. It's at the latest. It should be signed as soon as possible when you receive it.
All right. Then we have a question about GDPR. I think we can leave it actually until we get to a communication. We have a question about program manual updates, but this has also been covered in writing. So have a look at the written replies in Slido. We also have a few other questions that have already been covered, so I will again prioritize those that have not. Another anonymous question: is it possible to sign a partnership agreement with an electronic signature?
Electronic signatures are valid signatures, so it's up to you to decide if you accept electronic signature. You should just make sure that that there are valid electronic signature with a correct certificate associated to the electronic signature, but it's up to you to see with your legal department if you can accept the electronic signature for the signature of the partnership agreement.
All right. And let's see, we are getting more questions. We'll take 2 more, Anne-Cecile, with you, then the rest we will cover in writing, and we will continue with communication. So 2 of the last ones on the list. Deadline for having a signed partnership agreement. Let's start with that.
Yes, the deadline for having the signed partnership agreement is the submission of the first report by partners to the controller. So at the very latest, they have to have the partnership agreement signed before they can report to the controller. But of course, it's better that it's signed as soon as possible.
All right, as soon as possible. Okay, then we will, okay, I actually wanted to check, Anne-Cecile, if there is anything you would like to comment on GDPR. I think with Håkan, we can get back to the iOLF question or the new portal question in writing. Same thing for the additional questions because they have also been covered. But on GDPR, would you have any remarks on guidance or our approach?
Well, the main principle of GDPR is that you have to make sure that whenever you collect personal data or you use personal data, that you inform the persons from which you are collecting this data about the purpose of the collection of the data and how you are going to use the data. So, for example, when you organize an event and needs the personal data for the registration to the event, in the registration form, for example, you have to have some information of why you are collecting this data and how you are going to use this data. And this is the main principle. But you should check also with your legal departments best practice on how to respect GDPR.
Indeed. Yes, the other questions we will cover in writing. Anne-Cecile will join Hasun and Ségolène to see that we get answers to the rest of the questions, because I want to shift the focus a little bit. We went through contracts, agreements, important dates, and next steps, but there are also other things for you to keep in mind as you start getting started with your project, and that is communication. So at this point, I would like to bring in additional speaker, that is the coordinator of our communication unit and contact points, Irma Astrauskaite-Denis. And Irma will take you through communication requirements, what you need to know, what you need to keep in mind, and then we'll take again a few questions and talk about upcoming events and important dates to keep in mind. Irma, floor is yours.
Hello to everyone. It's really exciting always to meet for the first time for me, this time online, all our lead partners of the newly approved project. And as I think you realized during this webinar, and we also realized that it's indeed when we start the new program, everything becomes also new to us. And you get the things gradually. Some of the things it's related also with the database you're using. The same you will see things will apply to communication. My role today will be to talk about communication requirements. And I think most of you know that the main document we are referring always is our program manual, which lists all those communication requirements. And in the program manual, we have indeed a specific section about communication, but we also prepared several tables that summarize a little bit on what indeed you need to keep in mind. And one of those is the checklist on publicity requirements, which says that always when you communicate about the project, you need to use the logo set. Another obligation you have that on all partner institutions, you provide an information about the project, and also you publish it on the social media sites, that all partner institution websites are linked to Interreg Europe project website. This is our recommendation. You're also requested to prepare a poster, a billboard in case there is an investment, to mention you support in all documents used for public or for participants, or the participants when you talk about the project activities, and that you update the project website at least once every 6 months, and that you use a royalty-free, non-exclusive local license for all communication and visibility materials. And we will go one by one and we'll discuss all those specific indeed things a little bit in detail, a bit later in detail. On our program manual, we also publish the list of the program tools and templates we will be providing to you to support your activities. And those are the project branding guidelines, main project visual, the poster template, the plaque or billboard template, a PowerPoint template, social media template, and a project website. And let's go in details to discuss all this now. So the ones who already implemented project with Interreg Europe knows that we are eager to support you in terms of communication, that indeed some basic things you need to have, you get it from us, at least the templates, and that you can concentrate indeed your energy on doing the communication activities, talking about your project, and you don't need to think indeed how your project visual logo would look like. Here you can see the sample. So indeed each project will get a main project visual. Indeed, it's kind of a project logo from us. Probably you would ask me when it will happen. Indeed, we are already working on creation of the logos for you, and I think latest you will get it by the start of your project. So by March you will get, each project will get their main visual. You probably noticed that we are a very colorful program, and that the colors are dominating in our branding, and those are 6 colors related to the topics. So indeed, each of your project gets a color depending on under which topic you get the co-financing from the European Union. So this indeed you cannot choose, and indeed we also didn't choose. Those were the harmonized branding rules that came from the European Commission and Interreg organization that provides the branding or harmonized branding guidelines for all Interreg programs. And we, as the program, we joined this initiative, we support, and indeed we follow those rules. So we also implement those on the project level. And just for you to pay attention also afterwards, that you will get the project branding guide, where you will get colors, precise colors, and the codes which should be used. So here you can see a slide of our color palette, and so you will know precisely what your respected color is. And indeed, the color of your project should be a dominating color in all the designs or productions, communication productions. If you do a brochure or something, it should be a dominating color. This is our recommendation. And the also branding guidelines, we will be, there is a kind of an example set that you use your project color as the main color in all the communication materials you produce. And we also provide you some typical shapes that we use in the program, and we also highly recommend that you use it in the project communication, which is the hexagon shape, and you see there is also a specific line designed. In this programming period, the program is opening for you also an asset library, and the icons we are using. We have several, maybe I don't know how many, over 100, I think, small icons designed to use for our needs, which we use in the presentations and our communication. And this we will open also for you to use, so that you can use them and add in your presentations in case of need. And the program has also a map designed, which we will offer for you to use as well. Then talking about the project poster, we will provide for you a template to design it. Indeed, it even goes beyond the template, because the program will design for you the poster, as you see here on the screen, with the your project main visual, with photo, with the short description about your project, and then other obligatory information that comes indeed from the application form, such as financing, duration of your project, the list of the project partners, and also the objective, specific objective it belongs to. To get ready to this project, we will need to cooperate with you, and you will be asked very soon to choose and provide us one image, and also to describe your project in one sentence, so that we can then design the posters for you. The rest of the information is automatic, and we will take it from the application form. Then if you are obliged to translate this poster into the local languages, or you want to adapt or to adjust, you can do it with your own designer. The program will be providing one poster per project, and it will be in English, and the official language of the program. We will also provide you a template how your social media cover could look like. Here you can see an example. Again, if you want to use it, or you would need to any modifications, you will then work with your designer, but there will be already some ideas for this. For sure, we are aware that not all projects will create the social media specific accounts. So for the ones that will not need, but the ones who will do it then can use this template. You will also get from us a PowerPoint template, and here you can see how it looks, which will be provided for you in 6 colors. So then you will choose your topic indeed, and then you can use the slides. That will be, easier for you to present the project in some kind of, visual way. And there are already some, there will be some suggestions on how it could be done. Then after the program PowerPoint template, there will be also a project website provided to you. We are working on those as well. A lot of information will come automatically from the application form, but there will be some sections that you will be able to edit, such as project summary, also publish news and events. And we are, as I mentioned, we are working on it, but the project website will look very similar to what we had indeed before in this in the programming period 2014-20, and you can already see those on our project on our website if you go to the section on the projects. Then on the project, on the program manual, we published the list of communication activities, and with the idea that we would help you to plan those activities in your application form. And in this summary, it was included that you need to organize one final project dissemination event, to participate into 6 to 10 project program events during the lifetime of your project, that you encourage to create an account on Interreg Europe's online community, to provide at least one high quality photo, to produce and publish at least 2 short videos, and to publish regularly project presentation on achievements. So normally this has to be planned, and now we will go into details to see if there are any specificities. One specific thing about communication and visibility material, which indeed comes from the regulation, is that all what you produce in terms of communication, it has to be royalty-free, non-exclusive, and a irrevocable license. What it means, I copied here on the slide direct, sentences from the regulation. European Commission wanted to put this article for us to follow for all the EU project implementers, in order that at any time they can indeed take any communication material produced by the programs, by the projects, and without asking, use it further on. So on this, we need to be very, very careful. And anything, any photo you relate to your projects indeed needs to meet the standards, which can be quite challenging. On the other hand, it also opens some opportunities that we need to think, yes, about original indeed images that the program and the Commission afterwards could reuse them easily. Talking about the project videos, you are asked to produce 2 project videos at least. For sure you can produce more, but at least 2 you should produce. That those videos should be short. Again, the copyright material should be useful to all project partners, not exceed a cost of 5,000 euros per video. And the idea is that at the beginning of the project, there is a video where you present what you plan to do, and towards the end, you present in the video achievements on what you managed to reach within the partnership and within the years the project advanced. Idea for the program is to have more communication material that we can communicate better about the project. Then the project presentation, again, there is a requirement now for the project to publish a presentation about achievements, policy change, and that this presentation should cover all regions, project partners involved, and be regularly updated. So again, on the details, we will talk in the specific seminars on communication, but you should think about it already now, and maybe start when you have a kickoff meeting already to warn that your project partners, that each of them starts thinking about a slide where they really talk about what they aim to do, and then afterwards what they managed to do within the lifetime of the project. Then another requirement which comes from the regulation is that on each project partner beneficiary's website and social media, in case it exists, there should be a short description published about the project, its aims and results, and to highlight EU financial support using the main project visual and link to the project website. then, I mean, it's nothing very complex to meet this requirement. It's just that you need to think that if your institution has a website, there should be a dedicated space where indeed you share information that you are involved in the European Union project under the Interreg Europe program. You're also requested within 6 months after approval of the project to hang a poster, and a poster has to be hanged in the readily visible to the public location. It can just be an entrance area of the building. It can't be a roll-up banner, but it could be an electronic display. And indeed, again, it's a requirement not specific to the Interreg Europe program. It's for all EU co-financed indeed projects. If your organization is involved in more, you need to produce a poster or to provide this electronic display for each of the projects. In case in your project there will be a physical investment involved that's related to the pilot projects, indeed pilot investments, you will be asked to place at the start of the pilot also a plaque or billboard, and the program will provide a template for this. Yes, so I think that's the overview about communication. I think I'm ready to see if there are any questions in the chat.
There are for sure. So just a quick reminder, you have a lot of useful links, a lot of the links that were in the presentation, you see those in the chat. So have a look at the chat for additional info. You will also get the slides afterwards. And when it comes to the questions, we are also typing the answers in Slido. So have a look at Slido for written replies. But Irma, we have quite a few communication questions. Maybe before we dive into the questions, I have a question to our audience. We have a poll about communication, and when we go to the replies, I would just like to know where you are in terms of planning your project communication. Can we launch our poll and see if our lead partners and future project partners have already decided who will be responsible for project communication? Will it be maybe somebody in the partner organization staff? Are you going to hire an external expert, or are you perhaps still discussing it with your partners? Or maybe you don't know yet, and this is more food for thought as you get closer to starting with your communication activities. So just to see a little bit how far and from which angle we should discuss the questions today. All right, we can close the poll and have a quick look at the results. I can see that for most of you, it will be one of the partners, staff members who will take care of it. Some are also thinking about hiring an external expert or thinking about how to do it among the partnership. And some of you don't know yet, but keeping in mind that for most, it will be somebody from the partner organization. Irma, let's have a look at the questions. Can we sort the question list by stars, please, on the screen? We had some questions about posters. You mentioned that it should be published 6 months after approval, but there was a question about how long, when and for how long will it have to be displayed? So project poster related question: for how long will the poster have to be displayed in this visible place? And will it be sent to the lead partner, and will the lead partner then be the one providing it to the other partners?
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's a very good question, because to the first one, I probably don't know the answer, because in the program manual we say that the project poster needs to be hanged 6 months after the approval, but it does not indicate the duration, and neither the EU regulation does it. But I mean, just having a very logical, I would say, thinking it should be during the whole duration of your project and until you submit the last progress report. But we will clarify. I will ask this question maybe to the Commission. If there would be any additional guidance, then we would communicate it to you. The second question was about yes, how you would internally organize the process. We will provide indeed the poster template, and it's a lead partner who will access the specific folder where this the poster will be saved, and then it's up to you to see how you manage internally within your project. You can, agree that you just will share the same link with your partners that can print this poster and then the hang in the premises. And as I mentioned before, in case the national rules require to translate this information, then it would be for you to see how you organize it in your project partners.
Okay, we also got quite a few questions about the videos, different types of questions, so we will try to group those a little bit. And we got quite a few questions about images, use of stock images, licenses and such. Maybe let's dive quickly into the videos first. There was a question about, I will group these a little bit, about the target group of these videos. Who should these be for? And well, let's start maybe with that and then go into the type of video. Who are these videos for?
The videos are aimed, they will be published on your project website. So you should be aiming to a public who does not know a lot about your project, but would like to learn a little bit more. So it should cover indeed the basic information. Idea is that we open up a little bit the knowledge presentation about the projects to a wider audience, because we see now many people from European Union institutions or also other projects go to the websites of the projects, and it takes a lot of time sometimes to dig to understand where's what information is saved. And by creating those videos, we aim that each project would have a very short presentation, a visual one, that can be easily indeed used or given to the commission so that they can use in various events, that it could be also nice when someone comes to your website, they watch a video, it's only a few minutes, and they understand indeed the basics of your project. But you also should see, you should see what is also needed for your partnership, because in your project, you will be presenting your project to many indeed people. Also, your partners locally will be presenting it. So this, communication deliverable should also meet this objective, that it would be easy to present, that it's indeed in this communication, like in those few first seconds, people get the idea what is your project about.
All right, and in terms of type of video, can it be animated, or what kind of videos are we looking for?
Yes, it can be. We do not limit any type of format, and it's up to you to decide. You can do it. You can do it like using your mobile phone. You can hire someone. You can do it an animated video. There are no restrictions. I think the only thing on the budget, there is only restriction that it should not be too costly. Talking about, also this in communication with the communication team, we will have a dedicated indeed training or seminar to explain you a little bit more, and we will talk it. I think also idea is that to discuss those things once the communication responsible person for the project are on board.
And perhaps even without going into much more detail, do we have any guidance or template, or when will we have more information about perhaps these videos? We will be sharing more info about communication in the months to come, but perhaps a bit of a foresight.
For now, it's really, I would say there is no specific guidance on how exactly it should be done, except the things I mentioned on the slide, that it should be short, that should be explained the project objective. So there is a lot of freedom on how to implement this project. I think by seeing the first products of our projects, we will then also see if we need to go into the details. Now, seeing also your feedback a little bit, you can also send me a message in the chat if you really see if you need more guidance or templates for this. We can then work on that. For now, it was not really planned that we would provide more information. We were just more seeing to leave freedom for you, but we always look into the need and demand, so do not hesitate to share your ideas on this, and we can see then what we can work on.
And in terms of the videos and eligibility, our finance colleague answered these in Slido, but just to clarify, the idea was to have one video per project or separate videos per partner?
It was an idea to have one video per project.
Okay, then maybe let's leave videos aside for a while. Indeed, this is a place where you have a little bit of room for creativity, and we look forward to seeing your ideas as well, and we can develop that approach together. Let's talk a little bit about images. Going first, maybe back to the poster a little bit. We talked about needing an image and a sentence for the poster. When would we need it?
We will launch this exercise next month, and there will be a deadline for 1 month, 1.5 for you. Idea is to have the project posters ready by summer. So do not worry. I mean, it will be, I would say, a structured exercise that you will receive an email from us where exactly you need to add the sentence to a specific table, and also we will give the guidance on where then to save the image.
Yes. And then talking about where and how to find those pictures. When it comes to, for example, licenses, would it be okay to purchase a license for Adobe stock or such, or what type of images can our projects use?
It's very hard to answer to this question because indeed, if you purchase a photo, you need to make sure that then this license meets the criteria set in the regulation. And there is no maybe one answer that on this portal you can buy, on the other not. From our experience, we know that in some cases you buy a photo which seems to be free. After a year it changes, and then you might be in trouble. So you need to be very careful and judge on your own concrete situation, and read very carefully all the terms if you purchase a photo. But I think what advice we can give, and what we do on the program level now more, we see that it's the best, probably the solution is to hire a photographer and to take few photos that you would own them, that would be related to the topic of your project. Then you are really safe, and you know that this photo is for you. You can use anywhere, and there are no restrictions on it. And this is, what the program also is doing at our level, that we try to produce as many visuals as we can ourselves. Yeah.
And then I think this one, Nora, we might need a bit more of a clarification, because Nora is asking about account for a photo. Can it be the lead partner representative, or would it have to be some sort of project account, or how to decide who is in charge of these photos, or who has the ownership, let's say? I think this is how I understand the question, at least.
Yeah, it's probably an internal also question you have to tackle within the partnership. If it's really a photo that has no restrictions and everyone can use, then it does not matter indeed who purchases this, because then the program can use, commission can use, all partners can use. So this is indeed the idea of the commission. And then, okay, for sure, I guess the question will come to all of you. Let's say your project is under the topic green, but it's true there are several partners. So then, if we take a photo, in which partner's location we take the photo, and why it's in that location and not in the other one. So this is, I think, something you should discuss. But the advice maybe I could give, I would go thinking, okay, what is the image that would associate with the topic of your project, and then for sure to go for a solution or an image that would be really visually look the most nice, or to go to the partner which has the most potential to get like a visually nice image and really do not maybe try to really to see, okay, how can we get this image that would represent best the project topic itself, but not really go into, not to dig into that, okay, it's specific partner, etc. For sure, in the past, we also had some examples where projects combine several photos, but those type of maybe projects, it's not always then easy to use them on all communication materials. So I think it's better to go for one photo representing the project topic.
Great. We have very active communication participants today, lots of communication questions, in fact, I see. We still have a few more on the list, so I think we can go through them. We still have a little bit of time as well. We have a few additional updates, some key dates for you to keep in mind that we want to share as well, but let's spend a bit more time on the questions. Staying on the topic of file sharing, images, databases, and so on, a question about how to share documents within the partnership or with partners. Irma, can you give an insight on what kind of tools could or should be used, or will we as a program provide some kind of tool for file sharing?
It's up to each project to decide how you will share the documents within your project partnership. When we did some research, or we asked our projects on what they do, they had different options. I mean, the ones I see now on the screen: Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox. Now also could be via Microsoft, the shared cloud, etc. We, as the program, we will not provide a space for you to share those. This is something you need to manage within your project partnership. What only we will be providing, for sure, there is some documents we will need to share with you, like a logo, your project poster. So we will create then a space for the specific materials that you will be able to download from us, but it's not foreseen that this space is used for your project. Yes, internal documents. This you need to, to discuss with your partnership and to see how you do it.
All right. So yes, indeed, you do have some choice within the partnership, and of course, you have to find a solution that fits your needs as well. So I would start rather from what your needs are and how to best meet them. Staying on pictures, we talked about databases, but Sylvia is asking, what about if people or project partners take pictures themselves during visits or such? Do people need to sign some sort of disclaimer or such for the photos to be used later on? I think this also links a little bit back to the GDPR discussion that we started earlier.
Yeah, but talking about indeed the photos or the copyrights, it's never an easy subject to talk about. And when we were doing some research, we realized that indeed the rules apply the specific country where this photo indeed then is taken. So indeed you need to see what are the concrete rules. But usually, yes, if the photos or people are really visible, then you should get an agreement. But also how to do, there are some tricks. For example, if it's the people who come to your event, and those are the people who register, and those are the project partners within the registration, you can at the same time ask for their agreement that photos would be taken during this event. This is also what the program is doing.
Indeed. We had also two more questions. I will take the last one maybe first. An anonymous question on videos. If somebody wants to produce a video in different partner languages or have it translated, would this also be covered as a part of the video cost, or would that have to be foreseen separately?
First of all, the official program language is English, and if we aim to we have an objective to promote the project for a wider audience. So it should be the main language for us, it's English. Then if you manage within this budget to translate into other languages, I mean, that's possible. If there is something else specific, then I think individually, on the individual basis, it has to be discussed with your finance and policy officers that monitor your project. There can be some specific cases, but as a general rule, what we require that the video should be created, yes, in English. It's this is the language.
Indeed. Two more questions. Let's go with the first one on the list, or more of a remark perhaps on how a poster, a physical poster, would look after 3 years of having it hang on the wall. When it comes to the posters, Irma, just maybe to clarify how and in which format we deliver the posters and what can be done with those files.
So I really see some, I mean, a bit of criticism and a little bit like of smile of the person who asked this question, and I can understand. This requirement comes from the European Commission, and it's in the regulation. So it's only that that we had to take it on the program level. And you need to know that in the past programming period, there was also this requirement. It was not possible to replace the poster to any like electronic or digital format. Now I think Commission reflected on this, and now it's possible. So if you don't want a paper version, there can be a screen which would then show several posters, like I mean several projects your institution is involved in, because for sure institutions or project partners criticize that if we implement 10 where indeed even 10 projects where indeed to put all of them, it takes a lot of space, visual does not look nice, etc. However, this rule is there and we have to follow and respect it. On the program level, we will be providing to you a digital poster. This maybe I didn't specify when I was talking about it. It's a digital, so it's an electronic version of the poster, which will be designed, and then it's up to you to choose how to print it and to choose indeed the paper, etc. To make sure, yes, that that it is indeed looks good after some time. I think what is good from our side, at least, that there is this electronic file, so you can print it anytime. Some institutions put into the frame to protect it. We, for example, we also have to have a poster and it's hanging in our offices. We didn't overdo, we just printed it on just a simple, I mean, normal paper, A3 format, and already for some years it's on the wall. But I also understand that it's maybe a bit a different situation, that maybe it uses less than it could be, I mean, used in your institution. So it really depends, I think, case by case, and it's up to you to see then, yes, on what you printed, so that it would look good, and you can also reprint it. I mean, if you really see that it's too much used.
Okay, thank you. I think we've covered a lot of ground with communication. A lot more will happen later on. And I'm using the last question as a bit of a bridge to our final notes and remarks. We have a question about a communication seminar, if we will organize one and when that takes place. Irma, let's do some closing reminders. As we let our future lead partners get started with their project, what are the important things to keep in mind, and what are the important dates coming up?
Yes. First of all, I think it's important to know for all of them when and how to contact indeed us. And in the Secretariat, we have a specific rule set that whenever indeed you have a question related to to your project, you should always put your policy officer, finance officer, address your request to the policy officer and finance officer. And also you should remember that we have this lead partner rule. So always it should be the lead partner contacting us. Talking about communication, communication questions and communication team, it can sometimes be related that you have some specific questions related to communication, but in any case, you should then put your lead partner, if it's communication manager contacting us, your lead partner should be in copy. You can write us if you have any website related matters. But in case there are generic questions, it's always should go to your policy and finance officer. And we should keep us communication officers, because you know that each project has a policy officer, finance officer, and communication officer that are dedicated to your project from our team. So you should keep us in copy if there are any communication related matters. Yes, and in all cases, reminder, your policy officer, finance officer, lead partner should be in the loop of the emails.
And then the calendar of important dates. And this also brings us very close to the end of today's session. We have a few more minutes. We're going to take you through the key dates. But at this point, I would like to launch one more poll. And this one is for us to get some feedback on this session. How was it for you? We leave the poll running. Give us some feedback, fill in the little poll survey. And Irma, let's talk about what happens next.
So what's next? The ones who registered to this webinar, I think, made the first step, which is our way to welcome all our lead partners. The next meeting with us is 14th of March in Stockholm, where we organize a lead partner seminar. It's a lead partner seminar where you will meet, indeed, all of us, all teams coming there. And there we will cover such topics as finances. We will talk also about activities and also communication in more details. And there will be also a presentation about our policy learning platform for you to know what is awaiting, what is expecting on you on the thematic capitalization. I really encourage, if you didn't register, to come to this event, because it's always very useful to learn, indeed, to see us in person and to learn from also the other people, because we can see that very nicely also from today that the group is very mixed. There are some experienced ones, there are some who join our program for the first time, and it's always good indeed to participate into the physical events, to get also to know the others, and also to get sometimes the tips from the other elite partners. On the 15th of March, it's the next day, we have an event, Europe Let's Cooperate. It's our second call launch event. Second call launch event where we will be launching a second call and talking indeed again about the Interreg Europe program, more explaining from the perspective it's to the ones who want to apply within the second call. You are invited to join this event. There will be invited to join the event. There will be also a few opportunities to join the study visits organized by the policy learning platform. There will be some thematic corners. We also plan, there will be our policy learning platform experts present. So again, it's a nice opportunity to network. And I also would like to launch a specific invitation to address this invitation to you. During this event, we want also to include some testimonies from the approved projects from the lead partners who can share maybe their experience on how they found the project partners, on how to prepare a project application. And if you would be eager to be one of those persons who could share some tips, do not hesitate to send me a message now and send us the message now in the chat. Or if you want to think, then you can send us an email later to our communication team, who would be really glad also to get some contributions from you on this. And if there is any specific subject you feel an expert to share, we would be glad, because we really think that this experience you have would be very valuable to share with the ones who are still in the stage of preparing the project applications. Then in June, would be around this time, we will be launching the project websites, and we are planning to organize a specific webinar to explain you on how to edit the back end, on what indeed needs to be done. And then September, we don't have a specific dates yet, but it's planned that you will be all invited to the seminar on project implementation, activities, finances, communication. It will be related to already to give you some tips on how to prepare your reports, etc. And again, there will be an opportunities for you to exchange between yourselves. So we will have a session on communication during this physical indeed event as well. And in addition to the events organized by the program dedicated indeed to project, I would say, implementation, we will have events, thematic events, webinars, workshops organized by the Policy Learning Platform. You will get a detailed information about the Policy Learning Platform on the 14th of March, and but you can already see that on our website there are some online webinars published and also other events. So when your project will be concerned, you will start to be contacted by those thematic experts.
Great. Thank you, Irma. Thank you, all the other speakers. And most of all, thank you, the participants. We had a big team here today, both in the audience, helping us behind the scenes, answering the questions in the chat, giving you presentations, but you have made this session very, very active. So it looks like we have a very nice group of projects about to start. So we wish you all the best on getting started. We hope to see you in Stockholm for the Lead Partner Seminar and for Europe Let's Cooperate. As said, you'll find the links in the chat. Also, we would be very interested to hear about your tips and experiences on how you got your project approved. As Irma said, if you would like to share your experience, please let us know. One final note, if you didn't yet reply to the evaluation poll, you'll find it from the bottom tab on Zoom under polls. Just tick your replies, give us some feedback. This was all the information we had to share with you today. More will follow. Good luck with the next steps on getting your contract and agreements signed. Good luck with getting the project started. We hope to see you soon. We'll share the follow-up with you soon. For now, we wish you a very nice rest of the day. Thank you for joining today. Goodbye.